Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the student seminar presentation of the fourth semester student conducted by the Department of English, Santal Bidroha, Sardha, Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya, Gwaltor, Paschim Medinipur. So, it is a part of our internal assessment examination, and you will be glad to know that the Department of English of our college is the first department which have introduced this seminar presentation as a means of or as a type of internal assessment examination. At first, the students are very much reluctant because it is a new thing. They get fear, but after the completion of their presentation successfully, they have shown their expertise and they have received a kind of confidence. Why I am telling all this? Because it is also a matter of you. Some of you are new, and to you this is the first time. So don't be afraid, because this is the home playground. The home referees are there, even the home audience. So the match is yours, just like Julius Caesar. Keep in mind the Caesarian line: Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, and conquered. So without wasting time, and also wishing you all the very best, I would like to begin today's seminar presentation. I will call you one by one, that is in chronological format, alphabetically. If anybody cannot present his or her paper at his or her scheduled time due to some network problem or maybe any reason, so he will come later after the completion of the whole process. So let's begin. First presenter of today is Anita Mahata. Anita, begin your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Anita Mahata, student of 4th semester of SBSS. Today, my presentation topic is Oedipus is a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Sophocles' Oedipus the King is probably the most famous tragedy ever written. Oedipus the King is the story of King of Thebes, upon whom hereditary course in pleasant. Aristotle considered tragic hero as a distinguished person occupying a high position status in life and in very prosperous circumstance falling into misfortune on account of a hamartia or some defect of character. King Oedipus of the play Oedipus the King has some of these qualities. Firstly, Oedipus is the son of King Louis and Queen Jocasta. He is brought up by King Polybus and Queen Merope of Corinth. Afterward, he became a king of Thebes. Thus, from social point of view, he is a eminent person, indispensable for the city of Thebes. Secondly, he is also a man of good moral character. Though not a paragon of silently virtue, there are certain defects in his character which, along with his fact, lead him toward his downfall. As a king, Oedipus was perfect example of a dutiful king. He is a well wisher of his people. He is great administrator and intellectual. He is present a man who believes in oracle. Actually, he believes prophecies is the very basis of the play. Another aspect of the Oedipus personality is his absolute pride in his wisdom. His attitude of intolerance toward both Tiresias and Creon undoubtedly lead him toward downfall. The fulfillment of the prophecies, there is no any fault of his king killing his father and marrying his mother. It was completely in a state of ignorance that committed this crime. But Oedipus' character proved that his tragedy lies in the discovery of his crime. It is insistence on the truth that lead that discovery in which lies the tragedy. In this way, Oedipus is a perfect tragic hero because his tragedy is as much due to his own defaults as to the external force, but we admire him for the way in which he endures his suffering. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Another announcement that while you have introduced yourself, then only try to on your video mode. Okay. After that, you can off. But when you have introduced yourself, then you must on your video mode. Anita, you have presented your paper on Oedipus, and I have a question that you have said Oedipus, the character Oedipus has so many defects. So can you call that what the technical term that has been used for that very defects of a tragic hero, defects in characters? Can you say? Anita, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you say this? What is the technical term that has been used for these technical defects in the character of a tragic hero? Okay. Next presenter is Orpita Das. Orpita, begin your presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Orpita Dash. I'm a student of
On your video mode,
SBSS.
on your video mode.
Today the topic of my presentation is Oedipus. Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Oedipus fulfills the three parameters that define the tragic hero. His dramatic, his dynamic and multifaceted character emotionally bonds the audience. His tragic flaw forces the audience to fear for him without losing any respect, and his horrific punishment elicits a great sense of pity from the audience. A tragic hero is a character in a dramatic tragedy who has virtuous and sympathetic traits but ultimately meets with suffering or defeat. Something tragic is sadly disastrous, such as the untimely death of a loved one. A hero is someone who has accomplished special achievements and is viewed as a role model for others. As the play opens, the people of Thebes request their king, Oedipus, to lift the plague that is trying to destroy the city. Oedipus has already sent his brother-in-law Creon to the oracle to learn what to do. On his return, Creon tells that the oracle instructs to find the killer of Laius, the king who ruled Thebes before Oedipus. The punishment of the
একটু
murderer
জোরে
will
বলুন,
end
শুনতে
the
পাচ্ছি নি।
plague. The punishment of the murderer will end the plague. Oedipus makes his mind to find the murderer and exile him from the city.
Okay, Orpita. Other persons who are not the presenter, the audience, they are asked to remain mute always. If you have any query, then you can use your chat box or in-call messages. Don't open your microphone, okay? So the next presenter is Biswajit Mahata. Biswajit.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir, and everyone. I am Biswajit Mahata, student of 4th semester of English Department in Santal Bidroha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. My seminar presentation topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Oedipus, the main character of the drama, is a great king with ideal traits in his individual personality also. But he is tragic due to a tragic flaw in the terms of his moral disposition. That mixture makes us have the tragic experience of catharsis at the end of the drama, when all the good of Oedipus is wasted in his struggle against the bad. The name of Oedipus, which means swell foot. Oedipus is that ill-fated tragic character whose parents had to throw him away on the third day of his birth because it was told that he would kill his father and marry his mother. He is the tragic hero who was unfortunately pitied by the shepherd who was supposed to throw him in the mountain of Catharon. And instead of dying that fortune little death, he was given to the shepherd of another king, Polybus. He got that name and terrible, tragic mark on his swollen feet because of the square that his parents had used to pin his feet together before throwing him. And since he was destined to kill his father, he grew up in Corinth and ran away from there. On hearing the rumors of his evil fate, preciously to come to Thebes, kill his father and marry his mother, without knowing that he was running into the doom he thought he was escaping from. Aristotle, the first philosopher to theorize the art of drama, obviously studied Oedipus and based his observation about the qualities of tragic hero upon the example of Oedipus in Aristotle's conception. A tragic hero is distinguished person occupying high position, living in prosperous circumstance and falling into misfortune because of an error in judgment. According Aristotelian perception about tragedy, a tragic hero would be a man of noticeable qualities of behavior, intelligent and powerful, but by no means perfect. In terms of the Aristotelian theory of tragedy, Oedipus is a tragic hero because he is not perfect but has tragic flaws. Aristotle says that a tragic hero must have an important or influential man who commits an error in judgment and must then suffer the consequence of his action. Oedipus is a great and good king. The opening scene shows Oedipus in his magnificence as a king who is concerned about the welfare of his people. He addresses them as my children, as behooved of the good king of those times. He is a great man with respectable moral value and personality. He loves his people. He gives his best to everything he does as a person and as a king. He is so worried by the problem of plague that he has not been sleeping indeed. He says that he is suffering from for the whole city alone. He is a king of excellence, command and esteem. Sophocles' tragic character, Oedipus is an unique tragic character that is entangled and the moral paradox of human life and reality. His life embodies the paradox of the human
Biswajit, try to finish within a minute.
situation in which such things as tragedies are not only individual but also inescapable. On this way, Oedipus is a tragic hero. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The presenter are asked to stick to the time limit properly. Otherwise, it would be a matter of disqualification for you. And Biswajit, I have a question to you. You have mentioned the great philosopher Aristotle. And do you know what is the name of the book by Aristotle where the theory of tragedies has been discussed? Mention the name of the book, Biswajit.
No,
Yeah,
sir,
it
I
is
don't know.
Aristotle's Poetics. Okay, it is Poetics. Poetics. Poetics.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So the next presenter, I move to next presenter. That is Debu Ahir. Debu, begin your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Debu Ahir. I am the student of fourth
Now,
semester.
I have told all of you time and again that while introducing yourself, you have to open or on your video mode. Then you can off your while you have presenting your paper. But while you have introduced yourself, then you must on your video mode. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Debu Ahir. I am the student of fourth semester in Science department in Walthur, Santal Bidroha, Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Now I will go to my topic. Today is my topic, Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. In his famous poetics, the philosopher Aristotle laid the foundation for literary criticism of Greek tragedy. His famous connection between pity and fear and catharsis developed into one of Western philosophy's greatest question. Why is that people
You
are
can
drawn
now
to
off your video mode. You can now off your video mode.
that people are drawn to watching tragic heroes suffer horrible fates? Aristotle ideals revolve around three crucial effects. First, the audience develops an emotional attachment to the tragic hero. Second, the audience fear what may befall the hero. And finally, the audience pities the suffering hero. Through this attachment, the individual member of the audience go through a catharsis, a term which Aristotle borrowed from the medical writers of his days, which means revealing the viewer of a tragedy refines his or her sense of difficult ethical issues through a vicarious experience of such thorny problems. Oedipus' nobility and virtue provide his first key to success as a tragic hero. Following Aristotle, the audience must respect the tragic hero as a larger and better version of themselves. The dynamic nature of Oedipus' nobility earns him this respect. First, as any Greek audience member would know, Oedipus is actually the son of Louis and Jocasta, the king and queen of thieves. Thus, he is a noble in the simplest sense that in his parents were themselves royalty. Second, Oedipus himself believes he is the son of Polybus and Europe, the king and queen at Corinth. Again, Oedipus attempts a second kind of nobility, albeit a false one. Finally, Oedipus earns royal respect at Thebes when the solves the riddle of the Sphinx as a gift for freeing the city. Thus, Oedipus nobility derives from many and diverse sources, and the audience develops a great respect and emotional attachment to him. Finally, Oedipus' downfall elicits a great sense of pity from the audience, first by bleeding himself as opposite to competing suicide. Oedipus achieves a kind of surrogate death that intensifies his suffering. He comments on the darkness, not just the literal inability to see, but he also religious and intellectual darkness that he faces after becoming blind in effects. Oedipus is dead, for he receives none of the benefits of the living. At the same time, he is not dead by definition, and so his suffering cannot end. Oedipus receives the roast of both worlds between life and death, and he receives from the audience. Second, Oedipus himself and the chorus both note that Oedipus will continue after the tragedy's conclusion. Oedipus fulfills the three parameters that define the tragic hero dynamic and and multifaceted character are emotionally bonds the audience. His tragic flaw force the audience to fear for him without losing any respect, and his horrific punishment and Alic's
Debu,
great sensitivity
skip yourself.
from the audience through Sophocles' created Oedipus long before Aristotle developed his ideas. Oedipus fits Aristotle's definition, and with starting accuracy, he is the tragic hero for excellence and richly deserves the title as the ideal tragic hero. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. After Debu, the next presenter is Dipanwita Mahanta. Dipanwita, begin your paper.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Dipanwita Mahanta. I am a student of English Honors 4th Sem in Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today, my topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. I Aristotle's views regarding tragic hero are mainly based upon the excellencies which Oedipus the king possesses as a tragedy. Emulating the personality traits of a tragic hero, Aristotle asserts that a tragic hero is a distinguished kind of a person, occupying a high status in life and in a very prosperous circumstances, falling into misfortune on account of a humartia of some defect of character. King Oedipus is certainly one of the most striking and tragic characters in Greek literature that executes the qualities of an ideal tragic hero. He is a man of royal birth, possesses excellent qualities of character, is a great well-wisher of his people. He is a man of integrity and a great administrator with outstanding intellect. He respects the bonds of family, is a loving husband and affectionate father. Even people respect and adore him. He considers their grief as his own. It may be argued that the cause of Oedipus' tragedy is excessive pride in his intelligence. His feelings of pride seems to have been nourished and inflated by his successes in solving the riddle of Phoenix. It is his boast that no seer, not even Tiresias, found the solution to that riddle. His feelings of pride over his intelligence are crystal clear from the following sentence: that was a riddle too deep for common words. Because of his hubris of arrogance, Oedipus certainly alienated some of our sympathies. Indeed, self-confidence is a good quality, but when it takes the form of pride or insolence, it becomes distinguished and obnoxious. His tragedy is a tragedy of hero not only because of his any willful action, and yet it can be argued that if he had been little more careful, things would have taken a different shape. It can be said that tragedy of Oedipus is a result of his good qualities than his bad ones. Certainly, if Oedipus had not relentlessly pursued his investigation, he might have spared the shock of discovery. Oedipus is therefore as authentic tragic hero in the Aristotle scenes Oedipus the king. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dipanwita. After Dipanwita, the candidate who is going to present is Hemal Kisku. Hemal, begin your paper. Hemal Kisku.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hemal Kisku. I am a student of 4th Sem in English Honors in SBSS College. Today, my paper is existential anguish in waiting for Godot. Considered in terms of 20th century secular philosophy, waiting for Godot goes well with the tenet of
Hemal, your voice is
existence.
breaking. Hemal, your voice is breaking. Come close to the microphone. Yes.
Theorized by the star in being and nothingness.
Again, speak. What is the
Uh,
title of your paper? Hemal, what is the title of your paper? I can't get you. What is the title of your
Existential anguish in
Okay,
waiting for
okay,
Gadot.
begin.
Sir, I begin from the beginning. First.
Yes, you have to begin from the beginning.
Consider in terms of 20th century secular philosophy, waiting for Gadot goes well with the tenets of existentialism theorized by the satire in being and nothingness. Satire is de-establish the existence basis essence. There is no pre-existence, spiritual or soul, no God, Christian or otherwise, no comic compassion for human life, no salvation in heaven and damnation in hell, neither preset destiny nor investible fate, or not the transcendence of our world existence. In the humanism of existentialism, satire is insist that there is no human nature since there is no God to conceive it. Not only is man what he conceives himself to be, but man nothing else but what he makes of himself. Everyone must bear the responsibility for their own existence, since it is not predetermined or shaped by any internal force. Subsequent anxiety is one of the aspects of human nature. Nevertheless, the burden of anxiety and responsibility are often too heavy to bear, and we often seek to shift them and certain individual institutions, religious or even on a get out. Nevertheless, considering voting for get out as nothing more than a determination of Satter's thesis, it is a reductive and simplification as viewing it only as a Christian allegory, like Beckett. His play, as well as his characters, are not committed to any specific theory. Existentialism is a way to see them, but surely not the only one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hemal, for bringing a new situation, because it is not just like previous one, because previous candidates have repeated the same topic, so you have brought a new thing to us, so thank you for this. Now next presenter after Hemal is Kuheli Bisai. Kuheli.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible. Switch on your video.
Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Honorable HOD, respected teacher, my batchmates, my lovely junior, a warm welcome to all of you. I'm Kuheli Bisai, student of 4th Sem English Honours. Now I'm going to talk about Oedipus as a tragic hero. And highlighting few points about this, it will take only 5 minutes of yours. So about Sophocles. Sophocles was a famous playwright in ancient Greece. He was considered as one of the greatest tragedians. He wrote over 100 plays. He increased the number of speaking actors, increased the number of chorus members, and used painted scenery. Now, I will focus on the characters, King Polybus and Queen Mero. They are the king and queen of Corinth. King Louis and Queen Jocasta. They are the king and queen of Thebes. Oedipus, son of King Louis and Queen Jocasta. Tiresias, an old blind prophet. Sphinx, mythical monster whose head was like a woman, but the body was of a winged lion. Crayon, brother of Jocasta. Themes and symbol in Oedipus Rex. Themes. The search for self-knowledge can destroy the self. One cannot escape one's own destiny. Symbol. Sight versus blindness. The place where three wagons meet. Now I'll focus on introduction. If you look at this carefully, you will see that Oedipus in Greek mythology, the king of thieves, who unwittingly killed his father and married his mother. Homer related that Oedipus's wife and mother hanged herself when the truth of their relationship became known, though Oedipus apparently continued to rule at Thebes until his death. Let's sum up the main information now, that is the definition of a tragic hero. Oedipus, who is protagonist in the play, is characterized as a tragic hero, as he is a man of high estate and suffers from a tragic flaw, combined with his own fate. He is a man who is destined for his downfall. Despite all this, prior of his death, Oedipus shows redeeming qualities and ordered in final restored. Oedipus' goodness. From this, we can understand that Oedipus is a great leader. He led the country with success and prosperity. Sophocles shows that Oedipus is strong at the end of the play. When Oedipus chooses not to kill himself, he instead blinds himself, so he doesn't have to look upon the world. Oedipus decides to live on and fight through the internal pain that lives inside of him. Society should not pity the dead, but instead pity the living, especially those who live without love and friendship. It can be said that the tragedy of Oedipus is the result more of his good qualities than his bad ones. Cause of Oedipus' misfortune. This clearly shows that there are defined causes which brought misfortunes to Oedipus. Some were his own flaws, but some were brought by fate. Some of the causes are as follows: moral wisdom, character and fate, Oedipus's goodness, then pity and fear. This brings me to the end of my presentation, that is conclusion. When Oedipus discovers the truth, he goes mad. Finding that he fulfilled the prophecy is compounded by the presence of his children, who are now effectively cursed by the actions of their father. Oedipus blinds himself with Jocasta brooches as a self-punishment. This punishment may be seen to relate to the nation that Oedipus can no longer bear to look at the truth. He has seen more than he can bear. When he once was a man who boldly demanded to full truth against the advice of his loved ones, he now is overcome by the truth. His boldness remains intact enough to allow him to blind himself, but his passion for truth has had dire consequences. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Kuheli, for your powerful PowerPoint presentation. Your presentation is good, but I have an observation that you have not focused on the topic properly. You have broadly discussed Oedipus the king or Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, but as per the topic, title of the topic, you have not justified that very portions. Okay, but your effort is praiseworthy. You have done extraordinarily well. Your mode of presentation, your oration is okay, good. So let's hope for the best. Now the next presenter is Laboni Mandal. Laboni.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, you are audible and visible. Begin your presentation.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone who are also present here today. Myself, Laboni Mandal, a student of 4th semester, Department of English in Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Now I am presenting my topic, Sophocles, Oedipus the King as a tragic hero. According to Aristotle, the tragic hero must be a person of noble birth and prosperity, whose misfortune results not from depravity or vice, but from some hamartia, a tragic flaw or an or an error of judgment from the hero. Aristotle gives the example of Oedipus as a great and successful tragic hero. Aristotle's definition of a tragic hero consists of the following 5 points. The tragic hero is a man of noble structure. The tragic hero is a good person and his downfall results from his committing of an act of injustice through ignorance. His fate may contribute to his downfall, but it is ultimately the hero's own choice and action that lead to his fall. The hero's misfortune is not entirely deserved. The punishment which is given to the tragic hero exceeds the crime. Throughout the play Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, the character Oedipus proves to be a perfect match for Aristotle's tragic hero. In fact, as the play moves on, it almost seems as though Aristotle created his definition of a tragic hero by defying Oedipus. By definition of Aristotle, Oedipus is a tragic hero in the play because he is a man of noble structure. He is a good, but false because of an act of injustice. His downfall is his own fault. His misfortune is fully deserved, and because he gains some self knowledge through the resolution. There are different causes which brought misfortune to Oedipus. Some were his own flaws, but some were brought by fact. Some of the causes are as follows: moral wisdom, character of fate, Oedipus' godness, pity and fear. Oedipus is a tragedy because it fits the description of a tragic hero as outlined by Aristotle in the Poetics. In fact, this play is a Sophocles is termed as the best piece of literature that fits Aristotle's definitions of a tragic hero. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello.
Okay, Laboni. Okay. I don't know. There is, I think, 6 topics or 8 topics, but you are just repeating. All of you have attempted Oedipus the King. Okay, it's a kind of repetition or monotony, but this is not your problem. This is our problem that we are just listening the same thing again and again. Okay, let's forget it. The next presenter is Laxmikanta Mandi. Lakshmi, begin your presentation.
First of all, good morning, everybody, respected teachers and my friends and brothers and sisters. My name is Laxmikanta Mandi, student of 4th semester, Department of English in Santal Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today, my topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Sir, can I present my screen?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Okay. Topic name is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. So come to the introduction. It is the mainly character of a drama, Oedipus the Rex. He is that ill-fated character who had been thrown by his parents to die. Become it was told that he would kill his father and marry his mother. He survived and knowingly killed his father and marrying Jocasta and becoming a king. After they realize the truth, Jocasta hangs herself and he blinds and exiles himself. So the next point, Aristotle's conception of a tragic hero. First, Aristotle studied Oedipus and based his observation about qualities of a tragic hero upon the example of Oedipus. In regards to tragic hero, Aristotle's requirements are flowing given. He must be a man above the average, serious, elevated, about dignified. Secondly, he falls into misfortunate because of an error judgment, which Aristotle called hamartia. And thirdly, a tragic hero would be a man of noticeable qualities of behavior, intelligent and powerful, but not perfect. Next point, Oedipus as a tragic hero. Oedipus is a tragic hero because he answers all the requirements of Aristotle's of a tragic hero. First point, his social position, and second, his qualities. First point is his social position. Oedipus is a man of a royal birth. He is brought up by a king and a queen, and he himself afterwards becomes a king and marries a queen. Second, his qualities, a good queen, good king. Oedipus is a great and good king. He had always become the ultimate and almost the only hope and the time of travels. He is too concerned about his people when they suffer from the plague. He says them, I know that you are deathly sick, and yet sick as you are not one is sick as. Second, moral goodness. Oedipus is also a moral good personality. It is his goodness that he tries to avoid the unbearable fate that he hears of. He is not only too confident in his own analysis and understanding of reality, he is also afraid of doing wrong. He is adamant in his quiet for the truth of the welfare of the people. Next, respectful towards oracles. Oedipus is respectful towards the oracles. When Thebes suffers from the deathly disease, he sends Creon to Apollo's place to know on plain if him can save the city. Secondly, similarly, he has been afraid of the oracles which the priests have given about his fate. He says at one place, "Oh, if I was created so, born to this fate, who would deny the savagery of God? If so, his faith in the religious belief." And next point, he towards Creon and Tiresias. Oedipus is unarranged and proudly man in his excessive pride. He blames Creon and Tiresias. He says that they have conspired against him and they want his throne, thought that they are sincere with him. He says to Tiresias, Creon desire in secret to destroy me. And the next point, error in judgment. Oedipus wrongly judges his situation. He is arrogant because of his abilities and thus disobeyed the good God and his destiny. His escape from the professed evil fate, he kills an old man and marries an old woman by his intention. So, come to the conclusion. From the above discussion, it can be concluded that Oedipus is a tragic hero because of the facts that he is humanly frail, morally intermediate, and good, but not unflawed by a tragic awareness, and thus identifiable human condition even today. Furthermore, the like a tragic hero, he learns a lesson from his error in judgment. His tragedy arose catharsis in his because he is in the some unpleasant situation like us, though he was a great man otherwise, so Oedipus fulfills all the conditions of an Aristotelian tragic hero. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laxmikanto, for your beautiful presentation, PowerPoint presentation. And as I have seen that there are so many typographical errors in your slides, like unflowed, not it is unflowed, it is unflawed, FLAWD. Okay, so you must be careful about this. Otherwise, it's okay. You have pointed out the main topic, that the title that you have chosen. Okay, thank you for the presentation. The next presenter is Mitali Mahato. Mitali. So now, from now onwards, as we have just out of sort of the time, so you have to skip your presentation within 3 minutes. Okay, stick to the time limit. Within 3 minutes, you have to present your paper. 3 minutes strictly.
Good morning, respected teachers, my dear friends, and lovely juniors. I am Mitali Mahata. I am 4th semester student in English department of SBSS College. Today, the topic of my presentation, Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Oedipus Rex by Sophocles is famous Greek tragical play. The main character Oedipus is considered as a classic tragic hero based on the most influential literary theorist Aristotle's definition of tragic hero. According to the definition, a tragic hero is a person who is not eminently good and just, yet whose misfortune is brought about not by vice or depravity, but by some error or fatality. The hero must be one who is highly renowned and prosperous. As mentioned, a tragic hero must be highly renowned and prosperous. Oedipus, the king of Thebes, is highly renowned and prosperous. Oedipus had saved the city of Thebes from Phoenix, and because of this, people in Thebes look up to him. They rally on and look to Oedipus for safety in times of need when Thebes is suffering from the plague. People look to Oedipus to save the city from the disaster. From the play, the speech of the priest to Oedipus saying, O mighty power, we turn to you. By counsel of the gods or of man, a king of wisdom, noblest of man, and liberator from your boldness long ago. Oedipus with utmost respect. Oedipus is a highly renowned and prosperous person and has perfectly matched the condition of being a tragic hero. Oedipus is a tragic hero because he also fit in the definition of being a person who is not eminently good and just, and his misfortune is brought about not by vice or depravity, but by error and ignorance. Thank you, sir.
Okay. After Mitali, Payel Mandal will present. Payel.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Payel Mandal, student of 4th semester in English department of Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. And today my presentation topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero in the Oedipus the King. Aristotle views regarding tragic hero are mainly based upon the excellence which Oedipus Rex possesses as a tragedy. Enumerating the personality traits of a tragic hero, Aristotle asserts that a tragic hero is distinguished kind of person occupying a high status in life and in a very prosperous circumstance falling into misfortune on account a hamartia or some defect of character. King Oedipus is certainly one of the most striking and tragic characters in Greek literature that excluding the qualities of an ideal tragic hero. He is a man of royal birth, excellent qualities of character. He is a great well-wisher of his people. He is a man of intelligent and is a great administrator with outstanding intellect. He represents the bond of family, is a loving husband and affectionate father. Theban people respect and adore him. He considered their grief as his own. However, he is not without faults. He does suffer from hamartia, which make his liable to incur the worth of the goods. He is a short-tempered, rash, overconfident, and exclusive proud of his genius. But his ruin is but thought the force of circumstances. The hamartia in this way includes a defect of character, a passionate act of ignorance. The tragic irony lies in the fact that he commits his incomplete innocent but result proves to be disaster. However, it is not easy to point out of single hamartia which is different responsible of Oedipus tragedy. It may be argued that the cause of Oedipus tragedy is exclusive proud in his intelligence. His feeling of pride seems to have been neither an impact in his situation in solving the riddle of phonics. It is his boast that no seer that even Teresa's found the solution to that riddle. His following of pride over the intelligent are crystal clear from the following sentence. That was a riddle too deep for common world because it is hubris and or arrogance. Oedipus certainly elements some of our sympathies. Indeed, self-confidence is a good quality, but when it takes the form of pride, innocence, it becomes distinguished or obnoxious. His tragedy is a tragedy for errors, not only become for any willful action, and yet it can be argued that if he had not little more careful, thing would have taken of different shape. It can be said that tragedy of Oedipus is a result of good qualities than his had bad ones. His own loyalty to truth caused the tragedy. The self-blinding and self-punishment are the offshoot of the discover which is the major tragedy and makes his character tragic. Oedipus is therefore as authentic tragic hero is the Oedipus the king. In him we see the helplessness of man is focus of circumstances. The sprite of Oedipus remains
Payel, you have to conclude. Payel, you have to conclude.
concluded given his defect and that he is the essential fact about a tragic hero. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Payel, you have mentioned in your paper the term hamartia. What is the meaning of the word hamartia? Can you please tell? What is the meaning of the word hamartia? Okay. Next presenter is Prameya Samanta. Prameya, begin your presentation.
Good morning to all the respected teachers, my friends, brothers and sisters. I am Prameya Samanta, from the fourth semester of the English department of this respected institute. Sir, may I present my screen?
Yes, yes. Sometimes your voice is very feeble, Prameya.
Okay, sir. So, my topic is Sukumar Roy's Abul Tabul as a nonsense verse. At first, my presentation by describing what is the nonsense verse. Nonsense verse is a form of nonsense literature, usually employing strong prosodic elements like rhythm and rhyme. It is often whimsical or humorous in tone and employs some of the techniques of nonsense literature. Limericks are probably the best known from of nonsense verse, although they tend nowadays to be used for straightforward humor rather than having a nonsensical effect. Few famous writers noted for nonsense verse are Edward Lear, the first who had written these type of contents, uh, then Lewis Carroll, etc., and obviously Sukumar Roy also. Uh, Bengali poet Sukumar Roy, the story writer and playwright, was perhaps the most famous practitioner of literary nonsense in the subcontinent. He is often compared with Lewis Carroll. His works, such as the collection of the poems Abul Tabul, about which I am talking about, novella like Hajabarolo, short story collection like Pagla Dasu, and play Chalachitra Chanchari are considered nonsense masterpiece, equal in satire to Alice in Wonderland, and are regarded as some of the greatest treasure of Bangla literature. Close to a century after his death, Ray remains one of the most popular among children's writers in both West Bengal and Bangladesh. In Abul Tabul, he wrote 53 poems, and there we find various types of comic characters like Kat Budo, uh, like Kat Budo from the poem Kat Budo, uh, Head Officer Budo Babu from Konf Churi, Kumdo Potash from the poem Kumdo Potash, uh, Gangaram চণ্ডীদাসের খুড়ো, বোম্বাগড়ের রাজা, and etc. Abul Tabul, literary word, we can say the word and the absent, is a collection of Bengali children's poems and rhymes composed by Sukumar Rai, first published on 19th September 1923 by U. Ray and Sons Publishers. It consists of 46 titled and 7 untitled short rhymes, all considered to be in the genre of literary nonsense. Bengali readers were exposed to a new nonsense fantasy world by the poems in Abu Dhabi. This section offers the best of Sukumar Rai's world of pun-riddled poetry. Although it was not understood at the time of its publication, many poems in Abul Tabul contain skillfully hidden satire on the state of society and administration of early 20th century colonial India, mostly Bengal, embedding implied hidden meanings of the a subversive nature in nonsense rhymes for children was Ray's clever way of subverting press censorship by the then British administration in India, which was paranoid about seditious and subversive literature. At the last, Ray's nonsense was therefore what can be called meta-sense, as it successfully turned parody into serious literature by depicting the reality of colonial Bengal an oblique manner. Ray intended to trigger the birth of political consciousness and radicalism in Bengal so that it would react against the contemporary socio-political atmosphere, which was violent, unjust, exploitative, grim, and mechanized. Whatever Ray's intention might have been, the poems of Abu Tabur offered excitement and fun to the young minds in an alternative world of nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you, Promeo, for your presentation, and it is a new kind of topic that you have chosen. Thank you for this. I have a question to you. That nonsense verse, which is a parody of serious literature, and you have written in your slide that it is mainly meant for the amusement of the children, etc., etc. Do you think that only it is a literature which is only meant for the amusement of the children? Nothing is serious in it.
No, sir. Obviously not, because there are uh, so many satiric words. It is
Yes.
actually a satire of that situation of Bengal.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Yes, actually, it is not under the guise of this nonsense verse. The then colonial government, British government, has been criticized or satirized by Sukumar Ray. Yes, you have rightly answered my question. Thank you for this. Now, next presenter is Priya Ghosh. Priya, unmute first. Priya, শোনা যাচ্ছে না, you are not audible. Yes, now you are audible.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you are audible. Come close to the microphone.
Hello, sir.
You are audible. Begin.
My name is Priya Ghosh, student of 4th SEM at Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today, my presentation topic on Funny Boy as a coming of age novel. When you are a child, you are free to play any roles you like. You need not pay attention to the ethnic, religious, or even sexual identities that adults regard as important. Thus, at the opening of Funny Boy, a lyrical first novel by Sam Silverdoria, the young male narrator loves acting like a girl, and none of his playmates seem to mind at all. Set in author's native Sri Lanka, the novel follows the progress of a boy named Arjis from childhood through adolescence in 6 chapters that work like interrelated stories. The first, entitled Pigs Cannot Fly, centers on a pageant the children call Bride Bride, in which 7-year-old Arju dresses in a sequined wedding sari. While the other boys are busy at cricket, he revels in the free play of fantasy. This game allows him. I was able to leave the constraints of myself, he explains, and ascend into another more brilliant, more beautiful self. Yet, Funny Boy is a great deal more than a gay coming of age novel. For Arjie's loss of innocence is as much as political progress as a personal one. The action takes place in the 1970s when Sri Lanka, a land of breathtaking tropical beauty, has become bitterly divided by ethnic tensions between the Tamil community descended from Hindu tea plantation workers brought from India in the 9th century, and the Buddhist Sinhalese, the outnumber of the Tamil almost 5 to 1. Though wealth and close knit, Arji's Tamil family cannot insulate itself from the hatred politicians are stirring up against this vulnerable minority. For some of Arju compatriots, ethnic identity has become a death warrant. In the book's longest story, political and personal issues become tightly interwoven as Arju's father enrolls him in an elite colonial style school that he hopes will make a man of his son. It does in a way. Arju, now 14, falls in love with a Sinhalese boy and suddenly finds himself caught up in the bitter political tension that divided both students and teachers. When the sadist headmaster tries to make Arju a pawn in his own power struggle, Arju plot of defeat him and at the same time save his friend from persecution. For a brief moment, love trumpets of ethnic strife, but reality soon sets in outside the school walls. Moves are approaching Arju's beautiful home. With torches blazing, what left of his innocence goes up in flames. Throughout, funny boy Sam Silverdurai writes as sensitively about the emotional intensity of absence as the does about the wonder of childhood. He also paints an affectionate picture of an imperfect family in a lost paradise, struggling to stay together in troubled times. Arju's parents and relatives may not be able to understand his inability to fit into a conventional
Priya, you
sexual
have to
identity.
finish within a
But
minute.
he learns that despite this, he can always count on their love. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Priya have attempted yet another topic apart from the repeated ones. And Priya, I have a question to you that do you consider it is only the coming age of the protagonist RG? Do you not think that it is also the coming age of the country itself, the Sri Lanka, the country Sri Lanka? Do you think so?
স্যার আরেকবার বলুন।
Okay, okay, Priya, okay. So the next, another Priya Patro. Priya Patro, begin your presentation. Priya, try to
Good
speak
morning.
within 3 minutes, okay? Stick to 3 minutes properly.
Okay, sir.
Continue.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to everyone. My name is Priya Patra, a student of 4th semester in English Honours of SBSSM. So, my topic is Oedipus as a tragedy of fate in Oedipus the King. Sophocles presents Oedipus as an ideal tragic hero as defined by Aristotle. According to Aristotle, there are three critical elements that go into determining if a character is needed a tragic hero. First, a tragic hero is a person who is not eminently good and just yet whose misfortune is brought about not by vice or depravity but by some error or frailty. Secondly, the hero must be one who is highly renowned and prosperous. Also, he will most effectively evoke both our pity and terror. If he is neither thoroughly good nor thoroughly evil, but a mixture of both. And third, Oedipus Rex by Sophocles is a famous Greek tragical play. The main character Oedipus is considered as a classic tragic hero based on the most influential literary theorist. Throughout the play, Oedipus is proved to be perfect match to Aristotle's tragic hero as he is the king of Thebes. He is good and looked up by his people but falls because of an act of injustice. His downfall is caused by his own fault, but his misfortune is not wholly deserved. As mentioned, a tragic hero must be highly renowned and prosperous. Oedipus, the king of Thebes, in highly renowned and prosperous. Oedipus had saved the city of Thebes from Sphinx, and because of this, people in Thebes looked up to him. They rely on and look to Oedipus for safety in times of need. When Thebes is suffering from the plague, people look to Oedipus to save the city from the disaster. From the play, the speech of the priest to Oedipus saying, "O mighty power, we turn to you," so that they believe that Oedipus is the closest person to the god and is the only person who can lead the people in Thebes look to Oedipus with the utmost respect.
Oedipus is a highly renowned and prosperous person and has perfectly matched the condition of being a tragic hero. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. The next presenter is Puja Mandal. Puja.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Okay. Perfect.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Puja Mandal, of student of 4th semester English honors in Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today my topic is theme of goodness in the good omen of Sijuan. The theme of goodness, which seemed too simple in the little, is revealed as multi-fact right from the beginning the play. While wrong runs off to find a house that will welcome the goods for the night, the goods confer among themselves about how their mission to fight a good person is failing. The second God says people just are not religious anymore. Let's face the fact. Our mission has failed. The third God, reading from the resolution they are trying to follow, defines good people as these lived worthy of human beings. This definition is vague since it is unclear what actually a human being is worth. The goods reveal a bit more about their definition of goodness is since a first during their interaction with wrong. They ask him to find see the not a demand. This reveals that they recognize difficult it is to be good without support from the others. However, since the provides her own support in the form of her infant cousin Sweeten, when the competitor asked him to call sin to because she good soul answer certainly she ruined. The old woman is candidate for a good person and sin the recognizes that when she after lent her money to play heart rape, she too they are looking for good people who are happy, and helping me makes you be happy because you know it is loved and that God is mean to difficult. When she realized she is pregnant, her preparation of goodness changed as well. She sees comforter child digging in unclear whether anyone else hears the songs of sings to be good to of my shall to be triggers to all others. It have to and I shall have to with this resolve she will stand up for her property of Sita. When the goods appear to wrong scenes to Naine, they reveal how little goodness they have found in the world. She is the only person who has stayed good, and wrong draws attention to the fact that she is not even done it. The third God concludes that good item thoughts bring people to the brink of the abuse and good deeds pass. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for your uh, time limit. As you have finished within it the time limit. Next presenter is Purnendu Lohar. Purnendu, begin your presentation.
Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible and visible.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everyone. My name is Purnendu Lohar, a fourth semester student of English honors. Today, my topic is Funny Boy is a coming of age novel, which I'm going to talk about. When you are a child, you are free to play any role you like. You needn't pay attention to the religious, ethnic, or even sexual identities that adults regard as important. At the opening of Funny Boy, a lyrical fast novel by Sayam Salvadurai, uh, a young male narrator, RG loves acting like a girl, and none of his playmates seem to mind it at all. Funny Boy by Sayam Salvadurai is a coming of age novel that follows the progress of a boy named RG from childhood through adolescence in 6 chapters that work like interrelated stories. RG undergoes a realization about his true sexuality during his formative years. Bildungsroman means novel of education, so it can be estimated that such novels contain a prime character who is generally a young one gaining knowledge and education in his or her early years. In Funny Boy, Arji is in the midway of his childhood and adolescence when he realizes certain secrets about his life. Between the ages of 7 to 14, he explores his sexual identity and encounters the Tamil Sinhala tensions leading up to the 1983 riots. In the first chapter, Pigs Can Fly, we come to know about Aj's tendency for participating in bright game with the girls while the other boys are busy at cricket. When Arji is exposed in front of the elders while being wrapped in sari, he is strongly criticized and humiliated by calling him funny. In the second chapter, we see Arji befriends Radha auntie as he allows him to play with her jewelry and makeup. Radha auntie, who is engaged to Rajan Nagandra, develops feelings for the Sinhalese man, Sinhalese man named Anil. Arji witnesses all this while absorbing so many truths about life, including the riots between Tamil and Sinhalese. Similarly, through every chapter, Arji witnesses something that shakes him with realization. He attains psychological maturity throughout these chapters about the way the lives of the people around him are shaped and how they affect him. A Bildungssoma typically refers to a coming of age of a native character who seeks answer in his or her life in the course of the novel. In this process, the character explores the diverse variation of the life. The main goal of a Bildungssoma is attaining maturity, and in Funny Boy, Arji finally achieves it towards the ending chapters. In the beginning chapters, Arjun is confused about his feelings and urges. He fails to understand why everyone criticizes and humiliates him. However, when he goes to the boarding school, he starts understanding the actual reason behind his physical urges. There he meets Sehan, who helps him realize about his homosexual identity. In this chapter, Arjun gains maturity and the ultimate of the Bildung Soma is fulfilled. That's it, sir. I'm done.
Thank you, Purnendu, for your presentation. And after Purnendu, the candidate who is going to present is Rima Pratihar. Rima, begin your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rima Pratihar, student of fourth semester. Today, my presentation topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero. Now I can going to summarize. In this famous poetess, the philosopher Aristotle laid the foundation for literary criticism of Greek tragedy. His famous connection between pity and fear and catharsis developed into one of Western philosophy's greatest questions: why is it that people are drawn to watching tragedy heroes suffer horrible fates? Oedipus and the Phoenix Oedipus' nobility and virtue provide his first key to success as a tragic hero. The dynamic nature of Oedipus' nobility earned him that respect. As any Greek audience member would know, Oedipus is actually the son of Laius and Jocasta, the king and queen of Thebes. Thus, he is a noble in the simplest sense. That is, his parents were themselves royal. Finally, Oedipus' downfall, a great sense of pity from the audience, first by blinding himself as opposed to committing suicide. Oedipus achieves a kind of surrogate death that intensifies his suffering. He comments on the darkness, not just the literal inability to see, but also religious and intellectual darkness that he faces after becoming blind. In effect, Oedipus dead, for he received none of the benefits at the same time. He is not dead by definition, and so his suffering
so his suffering cannot end. Oedipus received the worst of both worlds between life and death, and he elicits greater pity from the audience. Oedipus fulfilled the three parameters that define the tragic hero. His dynamic and multifaceted character emotionally bonds the audience. His tragic flow forces the audience for fear for him without losing any respect, and his horrific punishment elicit a great sense of pity from the audience. Though Sophocles crafted Oedipus long before Aristotle developed his ideas, Oedipus fixed Aristotle's definition with startling accuracy. He is the tragic he par excellence, and richly deserves the title as the ideal tragic hero. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Rima. After Rima, Sanchita Ghosh will present the paper. Sanchita Ghosh.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sanchita Ghosh, student of 4th SEM in English Honors of Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. My topic is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Oedipus is a tragedy because it fits the definitions of tragic hero as established by Aristotle in the Poetics. In a classic tragedy, we see a noble and a heroic protagonist whose distractions in caused by a flaw in his character. This flaw can cause him to get involved in circumstances which overpower him or make him unable to deal with a situations caused by another characters or by circumstance. Although the play ends with the tragic hero's death, he does experience insight or a warmth which makes him and the audience more preservative and aware. This research paper seeks to explain how Sophocles Oedipus, Aristotle's descriptions of a tragic hero. The paper is corrupted in research mainly from primary and secondary scholars source. By the end of the paper, the reader should be able to identify two strong between Oedipus and the tragic hero outlined by Aristotle in the Poetics. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanchita. After Sanchita, Somnath Garai will present the paper. Somnath Garai.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Am I clearly audible, sir?
Yes, you are clearly audible.
First of all, a very good morning to all of you.
Video.
Okay, sir. First of all, very good morning to all of you. I am Somnath Garai, Department of English. I am from Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya, and now I am presenting my presentation. Sir, I am going to share my screen. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible, but in a very wide manner. So you have to fix the problem. Okay, you continue.
Okay, sir. Now it is visible?
Yes, it is perfectly visible now.
Okay. So my presentation topic is also the same, how Oedipus become a tragic hero in the play Oedipus the King. So I am starting it. Oedipus, the Oedipus, the protagonist of Oedipus the King, is a kind-hearted king to his people. He is a pious man who believes in oracles. He is highly respected by his people, but this great man carries the seed of his destruction within himself. His impulsive and ill-temperament nature, along with fate, determines his downfall. Oedipus is destined to kill his father and marry his mother. As this fact comes to light, his father, Laius, the king of Thebes, ordered a shepherd to kill the infant Oedipus. But the shepherd hands the infant over to the shepherd of the neighboring kingdom of Corinth. Then the Corinthian shepherd gives the child to his childless king Polybus. Then the queen and the king of Corinth raise Oedipus as their own child. A young Oedipus hears about his dreadful fate from the Delphic oracle and instantly flees from Corinth. As mentioned earlier, for his ill temperament, he killed his own father Laius and others on the way of Thebes at the crossroad where the three road meets, and at the very flashpoint of Thebes, he solved the riddle and of horrible things, and the people of Thebes made him their king and gave him the privilege to marry the widow queen Jocasta, who was his mother. By this way, the oracle was fulfilled, and the character of Oedipus became out and out fate control. And due to Oedipus's error of judgment, he blamed the trusted Creon as a due to Oedipus's error of judgment, he blamed the trusted Creon for conspiring against him and criticized Tiresias as a traitor. So he refused the advice of Tiresias and Jocasta both and solved the riddle about his own parentage within himself, and which makes Oedipus continue the investigation. Despite advice from both, they are trying to stop Tiresias and Jocasta to stop the investigation of his own birth. And the result is the ultimate tragedy. As Oedipus realized the truth of his wretched existence, he performed this disastrous act as a direct result of his effort and to escape the cruel fate which the oracle at Delphi had communicated to him. So his tragedy is thus the tragedy of error, not of any willful action. Despite we can say that thus the Oedipus, his tragedy, thus the tragedy of error, not of any willful action. Despite his flaws, Oedipus is a good person who seeks the truth, no matter how devastating it is. With the realization of who he is, Oedipus accepts his fate as well as the punishment meted out to him. Thus, Oedipus is a tragedy in Aristotelian sense, because in Oedipus we see the helplessness of man in the face of circumstances, and we see at the same time man's essential greatness. So we can call Oedipus, in this way Oedipus become a tragic hero. Thank you, sir. That's all about my presentation.
Okay, Somnath, a very impressive and precise kind of presentation. You have just stick to your title also. So thank you for the presentation. The next presenter is Soumen Das. Soumen, begin your presentation. Soumen Das.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Soumita Patar. I am a student of SBSS Mahavidyalaya. Now I'm going to summarize my topic. Oedipus as a hero. Ideas revolve around three crucial effects. First, the audience develops an emotional attachment to the tragic hero. Second, the audience fears what may befall the hero. And finally, the audience pities the suffering hero. Aristotle's theory to work, the tragic hero must be a complex and well constructed character, as in Sophocles' Oedipus the King.
As a tragic hero, Oedipus expressed the three needed responses from the audience far better than most. Indeed, Aristotle and subsequent critics have labeled Oedipus the ideal tragic hero. A careful examination of Oedipus and how he meets and exceeds the parameters of the tragic hero reveals that he truly deserves this title. Oedipus' nobility and virtue provide his first key to success as a tragic hero. Following Aristotle, the audience must respect the tragic hero as a larger and better version of themselves. In that play, Oedipus fulfills the three parameters that define the tragic hero. He is dynamic and multifaceted character, emotionally bonds the audience. His tragic flaw forces the audience to fear for him without losing any respect. And his horrific punishment express a great sense of pity from the audience. Though Sophocles crafted Oedipus long before Aristotle developed his ideas, Oedipus fits Aristotle's definition with startling accuracy. He is the tragic hero par excellence and richly deserves the title as the ideal tragic hero. Thank you to all for listening my presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Showman, for the presentation. After Showman, Soumita Patar will present the paper. Soumita.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Soumita Patar, and I am student of fourth semester in English department. And my seminar presentation is Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Introduction. A tragic hero is a principal character of a tragedy that enjoys all the trapping of power, fame, and wit, but though a major flaw of character, fatally is the realization and will to concede also known as Catharsis is what marks their position as a tragic hero. Oedipus, as voice of blue blood, is lovable but arrogant, and he fatally erodes in order to complete his picture as a tragic hero. King Oedipus of a play, Oedipus Rex has some of these qualities. Firstly, Oedipus is the son of King Louis and Queen Jocasta. He is brought up by King Polybus and Queen Mero of Corinth. Afterward, he became the king of Thebes. As a king, Oedipus was a perfect example of a dutiful king who is a well-wisher of his people. He is a great administrator and intellectual. It is because of the dutifulness toward Theban people that he is highly respected by them. All the time he is ready to help heal people. For example, he had saved his by Smith. He was already sworn to find out the cause of the suffering of his people. However, it does not mean that he is a faultless person. He certainly has his own fault. He is a hot-tempered person. He quickly became angry first with Polydectes and then was Creon. He blames Creon of conspiring against him. This shows his arbitrariness and dictatorial tendency. But it was because of his hot-tempered nature that he got involved in the quarrel which, which led to his killing King Louis and then getting married with Jocasta. But it would be wrong to say that it was only because of the hot-tempered nature that has tragedy occurred. But Oedipus' character proves that his tragedy lies in the discovery of the crimes. It seems that there was something in him which drops with toward discovery. Actually, Tiresias had refused to disclose the name of the murder, but Oedipus forced him to disclose it. We see Jocasta discouraging him from finding out the truths regarding the prophecies, but he did not pay any attention toward her. It is this insistence on the truth that lead to the discovery and which lies the tragedy. And my last point is conclusion. In this way, Oedipus is a perfect tragic hero because his tragedy is as much due to the own faults as to the external forces. But we admire him for the way in which he endures his suffering. Thank you, sir.
Okay. The next presenter is Srabani Garai. Srabani will present now.
Good morning, everyone. I am Srabani Garai, student of.
On your video mode. Why I have to tell time and again? While you will introduce yourself, then you have to on your video mode.
Good morning, everyone. I am Srabani Garai, student of 4th SEM in Gwaltor SBSS M. Today, my topic is Oedipus, tragic hero in Oedipus the King. A tragic hero is distinguished person occupying a high position, falling into misfortune because of his hamartia. Here we judge Oedipus as a man who may called a tragic hero or not. Oedipus is a man of royal birth. Even he is brought up by a king and a queen. He himself became a king and marries a queen. Thus, Oedipus is a man of social eminence. He is a man of excellent qualities. Oedipus is a good king, a great well-wisher of his subject. He is outstanding honest. He is a man of integrity and intellect. He is a great administrator. He respects the bond of his family. He is a devoted husband. He saved the people of Dabs from the torture of giant. As a king and as a man, Oedipus is worthy of high respect, but such a man has fault. He is not tempered. He is impulsive. He is proud of his intelligence. Oedipus become a puppet of fate. He commits sin, but unwittingly. He is a man of high social status, but has fault in his character. Intensity, impulsiveness bring his disaster. In this drama, we see the helplessness of man, essential greatness. He is introduced as a heroic character, and at the end, he is a man of heroic stature. The spirit of heroic stature, the spirit of Oedipus remain unconquered. Thank you, sir.
Okay. After Srabani, Subrata Mahata will present his paper. Subrata, you may present your paper.
Namaskar. Good morning, sir. My name is Subrata Mahata. I am a student of English Honours of SBSS College. My presentation topic is Abol Tabol as a nonsense verse. Sir, I would like to share my screen. Can I share my screen?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay, sir. Abol Tabol as a nonsense verse. If you are wondering who could have written such nonsense, which is very unlikely if you are a Bengali, I believe what you are actually wondering is who has been able to put the nonsense happening around us every day into words, and at the same time make poetry out of that is none other than the great Bengali poet, story writer, and playwright Sukumar Rai, who mainly wrote for children. This 19th century poet, founder of the Nonsense Club, was born on this every day in the year of 1887. We Bengali would have been despite of the thought involving heart-touching, brain-filling, humorous writing like খিচুড়ি, গোপকুচি, শোধ পাত্র, uh, খাতিকুতু বুড়ো, কর্ম পটাশ, Aldi note boy, and many more. If not for him, the writer and poet had hug impact on the history of Bengali literature on his short life of 36 years. Interaction. Abol Tabol is a collection of Bengali children's poems and rhythm composed by Sukumar Rai, first published on 19 September 1923 by Ura and Son Publishers. It considered of 46 title and 7 untitled short rhythm and considered to be in the genre of nonsense literature. He wrote it to criticize Babu Samaj by the Office Gandhiji policy of non-violent satyagraha. Our world is full of words that make sense and quarrels that are wrote making curiously and citizen strange, simple and important, and things which do not fall in this category. We define them a absurd, surreal, without even hearing if the answering whispers something to us without believing that even the unreal may be something to say, and that is worth listening to. But when I sing my word to boundary that only know how to make 2 plus 2 4, a tune from a farewell land come floating in. আইরে পাগল আবল তাবল মোটর মতন বাড়িয়ে আয় যখন এই খেপার গানে নয়কো মানে নয়কো সুর আয়রে যেথায় উঠায়ে হারিয়ে মন বেসে যায় কোন সুন্দরায় বেড়ায়ে সিদ্ধিচোরা নিয়মহারা হিসাবহীন. And the main thing is the genius making sense with is nonsense. The very text that we take today are usually for the student in various programs in school, college, or other else. I mean, quiz games. The word which comes from a word of Sukumar Rai book, Abol Tabol. The word which comes from a Bengali word. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Subrata, for your wonderful presentation. Wonderful in the sense that though your slide is quite, quite not, I have said invisible, but it is very hazy because the background that you have chosen is not right. Because of your background, the words are not very visible to us. But what you have extraordinarily done is that it is Abul Tabul is a translated version that you are reading, that we have to read, and Subrata has brought out the nuances of Bengali. He has cited some of the Bengali verses, and though it is an English seminar, but as it is a translated work, so he, for the sake of his presentation, he has used that very Bengali rendition, and this is very a good sign. This is a good sign, and you can proceed with such kind of confidence. Okay, Subrata. After Subrata, Sudip Lohar will present his paper. Sudip.
Good morning, my respected teachers and my dear classmates. I am Sudip Lohar, a student of
It is echoing from your part. Two devices are on, that's why it is echoing. You have to mute one, okay? Then it will be okay.
Good morning, my respected.
Okay, continue. Okay, Sudip, continue.
Okay, sir. So, good morning, my respected teachers and dear classmates. I am Sudip Lohar. Okay. So, can I share my screen?
Yes, you need not take the permissions. You may.
Sir, is it visible?
Oh,
Hello?
your screen is visible, but not your slide. Yes, now it is visible. Now it is visible.
Okay. My presentation topic is about Oedipus as a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Uh, Here the main contents of my presentation, that is about Sophocles introduction and what makes Oedipus a tragic hero, and the last is conclusion. So the first, Sophocles, the father of Greek tragedy, 495 BC to 405 BC. Sophocles is one of the three ancient Greek tragedians whose plays have survived. His first plays are written later than or contemporary with those of Achilles and earlier than or contemporary with those of Euripides. Sophocles was to become one of the great playwrights of the Golden Age, and he performed in many of his own plays, like in the Nausicaa or the Woman Washing Clothes. He performed juggling act that co-fascinated his audience. It was the talk of Athens for many years. He was considered the greatest Greek playwright. He won 24 out of 30 competitions and always came in second. When he did not win, he wrote 123 plays, but again, only 7 plays complete works survive today. According to a myth, he died when he tried to read one of his longer lines without taking a breath. Now, introduction. Oedipus is a tragedy because it fits the definition of a tragic hero as established by Aristotle in the Poetics. In a classic tragedy, we see a noble and a heroic protagonist whose destruction is caused by a flaw in his character. This flaw can cause him to get involved in circumstances which overpower him or make him unable to deal with a destructive situation caused by another character or by circumstance. Although the play ends with the tragic hero's death, he does experience an insight or awareness, which makes him and the audience more perspective and aware. This research paper seeks to explain how Sophocles' Oedipus exemplifies Aristotle's description of a tragic hero. The paper incorporates research mainly from primary and secondary scholarly sources. By the end of the paper, the reader should be able to identify a strong correlation between Oedipus and the tragic hero outlined by Aristotle in the Poetics. Then, what makes Oedipus a tragic hero? According to Aristotle, the tragic hero must be a person of noble birth and prosperity, whose misfortune results not from depravity or vice, but from hamartia. That is a tragic hero, flaw or an error of judgment from the hero. Applying this definition to Oedipus, we see that his character fits very well into this definition. Belongs to a noble status of birth. Oedipus, the main character of the play, is a great king of the thieves with ideal traits, but he breaks moral laws, so he is a tragic hero. Suffers from tragic flaw. Oedipus has some idea about his fate, so he wanted to escape from it, but he didn't. When he was born, his parents came to know that he was abused child and will kill his father and will marry his mother. So they decided to kill him and then gave him to a shepherd, came there and saved him. Oedipus did not know that who his father is. When comes to know that he will kill his father and marry his mother. The next one is face downfall at the end. But in the end, his wife and his mother committed suicide. He shows that he is an impurity in the land of thieves, and he talks his eyes out and went towards the mountain. And the last conclusion, King Oedipus can be taken as a typical hero of classical tragedies. According to Aristotle about the tragedy, a tragic hero could be a man of noticeable qualities of behaviors, intelligent and powerful, but by no means perfect. In terms of the Australian theory of tragedy, Oedipus is a tragic hero because he is not a perfect, but the other side of the coin is that he is a noble and good king. He is a good king because he loves the people of his country, but fate is fate, nobody can change it. Oedipus is a tragedy because it fits the description of a tragic hero. Oedipus Rex is a tragic hero. Oedipus Rex is a tragic hero because of his tragic flaws. His pride has led to the character's destruction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sudip, for that presentation. But I have to tell that in each of your slide, there are so many typographical errors. So you have to take care about this. This is not a good sign. As for example, in the last slide, you have written Australian theory of tragedy. Not it is Australian, it would be Aristotelian. Tragic flow, it would not be tragic flow, it is tragic flaw. Oedipus takes out his eyes, not talks out his eyes. So these are very silly mistakes that you have done. It is not desirable from you. So apart from this, all is okay. After
Actually,
Sudip,
typing mistake হয়েছিল.
yes, Sumana Dhara will present. Sumana, begin your presentation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sumana Dhara. I am a student of 4th semester of Santal Bidroha, Sardha, Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Now I am going to summarize my topic, the theme of goodness in the Good Omen of Sichuan. There are many instances portraying goodness in the play The Good Person of Sichuan. One has to say that goodness as portrayed in the play is a phenomenon. During Ong's absence, the gods show their fears about the possibility of falling to achieve their mission of finding a good person. One god decries lack of religious among human beings as the sole reason they are likely to fail in their mission. Right from the start of the theme goodness is released, starting up with the gods, definition of which a fantastic person is definitely in line with the gods. Some sort of good person is definitely the one which lives a living that is currently worthy a human staying. The theme goodness is released if the gods craving Ong to glimpse for Sente and show curiosity about her honesty that she can reciprocate. In line with the gods, goodness cannot survive for very long if there is definitely no with regard to that. In this field, there is the attempt by gods to explain of which begin good is definitely throughout the above discussion between Ong and the gods. Probably a further decoration of what living a life that is currently worthy for some sort of human being signifies. Finally, the gods are trying to be able to signify definitely difficult for some sort of human to goodness, help from man and woman. According to him, the days when all human being begins will be good will never arrive. Thus, it's to strive regard to goodness by sitting strength plus declaring Ong's wish to see them in Sente's life. The gods, good people, discover their way to God's world. Following the revelation by simply Sente, of which she was in Suita,
Sumana, you have to
typically
finish
the
within
gods
1
could
minute. Sumana, you
currently.
have to finish within 1 minute.
Okay, sir. The gods could currently not believe that women did bad. The Almighty, in congratulating her, intended for remaining good after typically the God sleeps, Sente remains using her problems, still begin struggles to goodness. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. After Sumana Dhara, it is Sumana Dey who will present the paper. Sumana Dey, present your paper.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. My name is Sumana Dey, student of 4th SEM English Honors in Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today, my topic is Oedipus is a tragic hero in Oedipus the King. Aristotle's views regarding tragic hero are mainly based upon the excellencies which Oedipus Rex possesses as a tragedy, enumerating the personality traits of a tragic hero. Aristotle asserts that a tragic hero is a distinguished kind of person occupying a high status in life and in a very prosperous circumstances falling into misfortune on account of a hamartia or some defect of character. King Oedipus is certainly one of the most striking and tragic characters in Greek literature that execute the qualities of an ideal tragic hero. He is a man of royal birth, possesses excellent qualities of character, is a great well-wisher of his people, is a man of integrity, and is a great administrator with outstanding intellect. He respects the bond of family. He is a loving husband and an affectionate father. Theban people respect and adore him. He considered their grief of his own. However, he is not without faults. He does suffer from hamartia, which makes him liable to incur the wrath of the gods. He is short-tempered, rash, overconfident, and excessively proud of his genius. But his ruin is brought through the force of circumstances. The hamartia is this way includes a defect of character, a passionate act of ignorance. The tragic irony lies in the fact that he commits this error or is complete innocence, but result prove to be disastrous. However, it is not easy to point out a single hamartia which is directly responsible for Oedipus' tragedy. It may be argued that the cause of Oedipus' tragedy is excessively pride in his intelligence. His feeling of pride seemed to have been nourished and inflated by his success in solving the riddle of Phoenix. It is his boast that so sincere not even Titus found the solution to that riddle. To the riddle, his feeling of pride over his intelligence are crystal clear from the sentence. Hence, that was a riddle too deep for common world. Because of his hubris or arrogance, Oedipus certainly alienates some of our sympathies. Indeed, self-confidence is a good quality, but when it takes the form of pride or insolence, it becomes distinguished and obnoxious. Thus, therefore,
Mona, you have to finish within a minute.
therefore, Oedipus is an authentic tragic hero in the Aristotle sense. Thank you, sir.
Sumona, thank you for your presentation, but I have an observation that in your while you have presented your paper, I have detected so many defects in your pronunciation, and it is not expected from a student of English literature, especially English honor student. So I think you will mend it, you will correct it in your in future. Okay. So many defects in your pronunciation. So you have to correct this. So after Sumana, Sushmita Pal will present her paper. Sushmita.
Hello, sir. I am Susmita Pal, a student of English Honors.
Come close to the speaker. You are not audible perfectly. Come close to the speaker.
Hello, sir. I am Susmita Pal, a student of English Honors, 4th semester at Santal Bidroha, Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. Today is my presentation is Funny Boy by Sam Salvador. In the opening page of the 1994 Canadian novel Funny Boy, a young Sri Lankan boy named Arji refuses to play cricket with the boys as his father insists. He had rather dazzle in bridal raids and join the girls' make-believe wedding. Novelist Sam Salvador's Gaze coming-of-age novel became a critical and commercial sensation in Canada when it was first published, enduring as a pioneering story of culinary, politics, and South Asian history. As the new film adaptation opens with the sound of the ocean establishing the lush seafront tropical landscape of Sri Lanka, a group of girls run across the screen with Arj's veil blowing in the wind, gender non-conforming and proudly leading the way. It felt like a double homage, she said. Not only was it about what it is like to leave your homeland, but it combines the feeling of looking. He never came across published novels that reflected their experience. Our story needed to be told, and I thought there was nothing for me. So I thought, would not it be wonderful to give a young Sri Lankan or South Asian queer writer a book where they could see themselves? So that was the start of the novel. Salvador says. Mehta says her intention was not to make a story but to explore the boundaries of women's lives and freedom in her culture. It is what is expected of women or what is expected of men, what is expected of us as human beings. She says, why can't we be what we want to be? and that
Okay, Sushmita, you look very less confident while you are presenting your paper. This is not also expected from you. So after Sushmita, Tinku Singho Mahapatra will present her paper. Tinku Singho Mahapatra. Tinku Singho Mahapatra, are you there? I think she is not present. Okay. So after Tinku Singho, the final candidate of today's seminar presentation is Urmila Patra. Urmila, begin your presentation.
Good noon, everyone. My name is Urmila Patra, student of 4th semester of English
You
department
have
in Santal.
to on your video mode while introducing yourself.
Student of 4th semester of English department in Santal Bidroha Sardha Satabarshiki Mahavidyalaya. My presentation is Oedipus as a tragic hero.
Aristotle views regarding tragic hero are mainly based upon the excellences which Oedipus Rex possesses as a tragedy, enumerating the personality traits of a tragic hero. Aristotle asserts that a tragic hero is a distinguished kind of person occupying a high status in life and in a very prosperous circumstances, falling into misfortune on account of a hamartia or some defect of character. King Oedipus is certainly one of the most striking and tragic characters in Greek literature that executes the qualities of an ideal tragic hero. He is a man of royal birth, possesses excellent qualities of character, is a great well wizard of a people, is a man of integrity, and is a great administrator or with outstanding intellect. He respects the bonds of family, is a loving husband and a affectionate father. Theban people respect and adore him. He considers their grief as his own. However, he is not without flaws. He does suffer from hamartia, which makes him liable to incur the wrath of gods. He is short-tempered, rash, overconfident, and excessively proud of his genius, but his ruin is brought through the force of circumstances. The hamartia in this way includes a defect of character, a passionate act of ignorance. The tragic irony lies in the fact that he commits this error in complete innocence, but result proves to be disastrous. However, it is not easy to point out the single hamartia which is directly responsible for Oedipus' tragedy. It may be argued that the cause of Oedipus' tragedy is excessive pride in his intelligence. His feeling of pride, he seemed to have been nourished and inflated by his success in solving the riddle of Phoenix. It is his boast that no seer, not even Tarsus, found the solution to the riddle. His feelings of pride over his intelligence are crystal clear from the following sentence. That was a riddle to.
Urmila, you have to finish within a minute.
It can be said that tragedy of Oedipus is the result of good qualities than his bad ones. Oedipus is therefore an authentic tragic hero in the Aristotle sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Urmila. I think only Tinku Singho Mahapatra is absent today. She is not now already also. Okay, so thank you all for presenting the paper, and I think it will give you confidence. Some of you have done extraordinarily well, outstanding, and all of you are good. And as it is a home match, so I have detected so many defects in you, so that you can correct yourself in future, so that that type of mistakes or errors cannot be repeated more or repeated again. So wishing you all the best. And as I have told you, this is not, you don't consider it as an examination. This is nothing but a kind of exploration of you. You have to expose yourself. So with this, I think your confident level must grow, and you can smash, you can perform at any stage, at any moment in future. So wish you all the best. I am now stop the recording. After the recording, I have to say something to you. Stay with us. I am not just stop the recording now.